You can feel it burning inside you, something you can't quite name. It isn't anger. It isn't desire. It's older, deeper. It's the pulse of the power that every man once carried, but most have forgotten. That pulse still beats inside you because you haven't been completely broken. You sense it when you look around and realize that the world has become addicted to noise, to validation, to cheap comfort. Men run faster but go nowhere. They shout louder but say nothing. They want to be seen, yet have forgotten how to see themselves. You weren't born for that. You were born to remember the force of silence. The kind that doesn't mean weakness, but control. The kind of silence that shapes mountains and bends storms. The modern world teaches you to scatter yourself. It tells you freedom means surrendering to every impulse, that peace comes from indulgence. But Marcus Aurelius warned that freedom without discipline is slavery wearing a mask. And in this century of distraction, the chains are invisible, made of pixels and dopamine. Every day you fight a war no one else can see. It's the war between the man you are and the man you know you could be. Every moment of wasted focus is potential lost. The same inner fire that could build empires leaks away through tiny cracks of comfort and reaction. You don't need more motivation. You need mastery. You don't need more noise. You need stillness. When you learn to redirect your inner current instead of letting it spill into chaos, you become dangerous in the best possible way. Calm, deliberate, unshakable. Your mind is the battlefield. Your energy is the weapon. Your silence is the armor. But few understand this because silence terrifies them. Nietzsche once said that modern man fears silence because it forces him to hear the truth of his own mediocrity. And you know it's true. When you turn off the screen and sit alone, the truth starts whispering about everything you postponed, every promise you broke to yourself. Most people drown that voice. You won't. Because hidden inside that discomfort is gold, the raw material of transformation. The moments that make you want to escape are the same moments that forge your strength. That's where the real work begins. Not in the gym, not in the money, not in the applause, but in the quiet confrontation with yourself. When you stop escaping and start refining. When the fire that once consumed you becomes the furnace that tempers your will. The man who can hold that fire without burning is rare. He doesn't need to prove anything. He walks with the calm of someone who could destroy but chooses to create. That is silent power. It's what Buddha called the tamed mind, the root of all victories. Sometimes you've tasted that alignment. Brief moments when your thoughts, breath, and purpose move as one. Then the world pulls you back into noise. But remember, energy is never lost, only scattered. Learn to gather it again, and the current becomes unstoppable. Everything begins with one decision: to stop running, to stop reacting, to stop begging for validation. The moment you choose silence over distraction, control over impulse, direction over gratification, that's the moment the titan inside you awakens. Most men mistake noise for strength, but noise is what fills the space where control is missing. True power moves quietly. It doesn't need to announce itself. It changes the atmosphere just by being present. When you start to master yourself, people feel it before they understand it. You speak less, yet your words carry weight. You move less, yet your actions ripple farther. Because power, when contained, multiplies. Mastery isn't a trend, it's a war, a silent one. It's fought inside your mind, your habits, your impulses. People talk about discipline like it's a checklist. It's not. Discipline is respect. Respect for your time, your body, your attention. When you respect yourself, you stop wasting what's sacred. Every emotion inside you is raw energy. Anger can destroy, or it can drive you. Desire can enslave, or it can inspire. Sadness can sink you, or it can give you depth. You decide what form your energy takes. That decision defines the difference between men who react and men who create. Look around. Reaction is everywhere. Every notification, every argument, every shallow comparison. Technology has become a mirror for our lack of control, people trading their attention for emptiness. But not you. You're here to become steady in a world addicted to motion. Nietzsche said, "He who has a why can bear almost any how." Your why must be so strong that every impulse trying to drag you off course feels like an insult to your purpose. That's what clarity feels like, when you stop negotiating with distraction. Inner mastery begins where applause ends. Nobody sees it, nobody celebrates it, but everyone senses it. A man who knows himself doesn't need validation. His coherence radiates. He's not arrogant, he's grounded, because he's already fought the war within. Every day you will meet the ghosts of your old selves, the weaker versions that crave distraction, approval, comfort. Each time you choose silence, focus, and purpose, one of those ghosts fades away. What remains is leaner, sharper, colder, not emotionally dead but disciplined. You'll feel lonely sometimes. The silence will press against you. The world will move fast while you stand still. But remember this, silence isn't emptiness. It's space. Space to build, space to think, space to channel power. While they chase noise, you are storing lightning. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The strong man is he who can dwell alone with himself and not seek escape. That is strength, not muscles, not titles, not followers. Strength is the ability to face yourself without distraction. Every time you resist the urge to fill the silence, you expand your mind. Every time you act without reacting, you grow in wisdom. The world doesn't need more loud men. It needs grounded ones. It needs titans who walk silently, whose focus is unshakable. Because true power isn't about domination, it's about direction. You don't fake control, you embody it. Every day gives you a choice. Remain an observer of your own life, or become the one who directs it. That choice isn't determined by luck or opportunity. It is determined by what you decide to focus on. Your focus is your currency. Where it goes, your life follows. If you give it to noise, noise will own you. If you give it to purpose, purpose will build you. When you begin to protect your attention, you'll see how much of your energy has been wasted trying to please others, seeking approval, chasing recognition, acting out of fear. But recognition from others is a mirage. It doesn't give you power, it drains it. Each time you depend on external validation, you hand over a piece of your sovereignty. The free man doesn't ask for permission to be himself. He simply lives with clarity. Silence is not isolation, it's alignment. In silence, you see clearly what strengthens you and what weakens you. You recognize the habits that sabotage your growth. You understand that self-control isn't repression, it's intelligent management of your resources. Every impulse is energy, and energy, when directed, becomes creation. Learning to direct it is like forging steel. The process burns, the fire is uncomfortable, but every time you hold your ground against ease, your character hardens. Every time you do what's right when no one is watching, your foundation grows. No one will see the work, but everyone will feel the results. That's how silent power is built. Nietzsche said, "The higher man says yes to life, even when it wounds him." That is mastery, accepting pain without drama, meeting difficulty without panic. When you stop complaining, your energy changes frequency. What once exhausted you now fuels you. You become a man who feeds on challenge. As you rise, you'll notice your emotions stabilizing. You won't chase stimulation anymore. Cheap pleasure loses its flavor. Not because you've become numb, but because you finally understand the cost of your energy. You become selective with what you give your mind to. Consistency replaces chaos. That is the architecture of power. People may say you've gone cold. Don't believe them. You haven't lost your fire. You've learned to contain it. You've evolved from a spark that burns quickly into a sun that sustains. Calm doesn't mean empty. It means controlled. What they call cold is precision. And precision is strength. Respect follows naturally. You don't demand it. You embody it. Your presence carries weight. You don't chase attention. You command it by existing with intention. That's the difference between those who react and those who respond. The first burns out, the second builds. And then a shift happens. You no longer need recognition. Not because you don't care, but because your validation comes from integrity. You respect yourself enough to stay consistent when nobody claps. That self-respect radiates through everything you do. The man who reaches this state understands something most never will. Power isn't about never falling. It's about never staying down. Invincibility is fantasy. Unbreakable resolve is real. Life bends for the man who doesn't surrender. Every choice you make, every quiet victory over comfort, every controlled breath in chaos, forges that resolve. No one else can give it to you. No one else can take it away. You've come to the threshold where most men stop. This is the place where strength is no longer about appearance, but about endurance. The point where nobody claps, nobody sees, and nobody saves you. And that's exactly where greatness begins. The construction of a titan happens in private. It happens when you hold the line even when it feels useless, when you keep walking through the dark with no guarantee of light. Every quiet victory you earn alone is worth more than 1,000 public praises, because what you build in silence lasts longer than anything that depends on attention. Here's the truth. Greatness doesn't feel like glory while you reliving it. It feels heavy, it feels lonely, it demands everything. But that weight is sacred. Every drop of energy you conserve, every temptation you redirect, every emotion you channel instead of wasting, it all builds the foundation of the man you were meant to be. The world doesn't need louder men. It needs men with depth, men who live what they preach, men whose calm unsettles chaos, men who don't bend to every impulse. That is your mission, to become an example, not an echo, to live so centered that your silence teaches more than other men's speeches. Once you master your inner current, once you stop scattering your energy, something in your presence changes. You no longer look around nervously. You look forward. You don't chase, you choose. You don't react, you decide. That's what others feel when you walk into a room. Direction. They won't understand it, and they don't have to. Your calm will disturb the restless. Your silence will expose the insecure. But don't explain it. The Titan doesn't explain his silence. He stands in it. The energy that used to leak through distraction now powers your purpose. Every impulse becomes a resource. Every challenge becomes a test. Every day becomes training. Marcus Aurelius said, "The tranquil mind is invincible." You've learned this the hard way. Calmness isn't passivity, it's strategy. It's knowing that no storm can sink you if you control the helm. You've trained for this. Every time you paused before reacting, every time you faced discomfort without escaping, you built a kind of strength that no one can measure, but everyone can feel. One day you'll look back and realize how much noise you left behind, how many things you thought you needed but didn't. You'll see the clarity that silence gave you. You'll see that in losing distraction, you gained direction. In losing comfort, you gained purpose. In losing noise, you found power. When a man reaches this state, competition ends. He's no longer trying to prove anything. He simply is. His existence radiates certainty. That's the silence of the Titan. Not the absence of sound, but the presence of control. Now it's your turn. Keep that silence. Protect it. Don't chase recognition. Let your consistency speak for you. Don't fear solitude. Let it sharpen you. Don't fear failure. Let it train you. Power is not perfection. It's perseverance. Rise each day without fanfare. Do what must be done. Speak only when words are heavier than silence. Let your strength remain unspoken until it becomes undeniable. The silence of the Titan is not emptiness. It's direction. It's the state of the man who no longer needs to prove, because every breath he takes already declares his mastery. You have learned to turn chaos into clarity. You have learned that the greatest roar is quiet. And now, wherever you go, you don't need to announce it. The world will feel it.